Rain tapped the metal roof of the bus stop like quick fingers, then slid down in thin rivers. The streetlights made the wet road shine. Cars passed with a hush and a spray, never slowing. Under the bench, a small puppy was pressed against the cold concrete. His fur was the color of toast, darker where the rain had found him. One ear stayed folded, the other tried to listen to everything at once. His paws were too big for his body, and they trembled when a gust of wind pushed under the bench. Every time footsteps came near, his head lifted. His tail tried to wag, then stopped halfway, as if he remembered it was safer not to be seen. Two teenagers hurried past, laughing with their hoods up. A man with a grocery bag stopped to check his phone. A woman in a blue raincoat waited for the bus, staring down the road. No one looked under the bench. No one crouched. No one noticed the small pair of eyes watching from the shadows. The puppy swallowed hard and inched forward, nose low, sniffing the air for something warm. The smell of fries drifted from across the street. His stomach tightened, and he licked his lips, then pulled back again when a horn blared. The bus stop sign creaked. A paper cup rolled and bumped against his paw. He flinched like it had shouted at him. Then he heard it. A soft scrape, not a shoe, not a tire, something lighter, careful. The puppy froze. His eyes shifted toward the back of the bus stop, where the bench met a brick wall. There, half hidden behind a wet trash bin, a kitten sat perfectly still. She was small but not tiny, her coat a mix of gray and cream with darker stripes that melted into the shadows. Her ears were sharp little triangles, and one was nicked at the tip like it had been bent once and never fully fixed. She looked clean enough to have been someone's pet, yet the way she held herself said she had learned to be quiet. Her eyes locked on the puppy, not wide with fear, not bright with excitement, just steady, reading him. The puppy's chest moved fast. He didn't bark, he didn't whine. He only lifted his nose a little, as if asking a question without making a sound. The kitten blinked once, slow and sure. Then she shifted her paws and stepped out from behind the trash bin. She didn't come close, not yet. She simply sat in the open, letting the streetlight find her. A man walking by glanced down, saw the kitten, and smiled. He leaned a bit like he might reach for her, but she slid backward smoothly, out of reach, then sat again. The man shrugged and kept walking. The puppy watched all of it. He watched how people noticed her, how their eyes dropped to her shape, how their faces softened for just a second, and he watched how she used that moment like it was something she had practiced. The kitten turned her head toward the bench, then back toward the puppy. Her tail flicked once, short and firm, like a small signal. The puppy didn't understand, but something in him answered anyway. He scooted forward until his nose was near the edge of the bench, his paws just inside the dry strip beneath it. Rainwater dripped from his chin. The kitten stood and moved closer, careful as a whisper. She stopped at the edge of the bench, close enough that the puppy could smell her. Not food, not soap, just a warm, animal smell and something like damp leaves. The puppy's tail gave one honest wag. Then he pulled it back in, nervous, eyes darting to the road, to the people, to the rain. The kitten stared up at the bench. Then she looked at the puppy again, as if making a decision. She stepped forward and lowered her head, nose almost touching his. The puppy held still. His breathing slowed just a little. The kitten sniffed him once, then twice, then sat down right in front of the bench opening, like she was blocking the wind. She tucked her paws under her chest and made herself small. She didn't look at him anymore. She looked outward at the sidewalk, at the passing legs, at the world. The puppy shifted behind her, confused. A woman in running shoes came to the bus stop, shaking water off her umbrella. She glanced down and saw the kitten sitting there. She smiled without meaning to, then crouched a little. "Hey, sweetheart," the woman said softly. The kitten didn't run, she didn't move. She only tilted her head just enough to look curious. The woman's hand reached out, slow, palm down. From behind the kitten, the puppy's nose poked out before he could stop himself. He smelled the woman's clean sleeve and the sharp scent of peppermint gum. The woman's eyes widened. "Oh, hi," she breathed, as if she hadn't expected anyone else to be there. The puppy's tail thumped once against the concrete. The woman leaned closer, her umbrella slipping on her shoulder. Her face changed. Her smile faded into worry. She looked from the kitten to the puppy, then under the bench and around the bus stop like she was trying to find a collar, a leash, an owner, anything. The kitten stayed seated, calm as a small stone. The puppy watched the woman's hands carefully, ready to pull back if she moved too fast. "Where did you two come from?" The woman whispered. The puppy moved his head into the scarf, and the fabric brushed his cheeks. The woman exhaled, relieved, and began to slide the scarf under him slowly, like she was scooping up a sleeping baby. The kitten sprang lightly onto the bench, shaking rain from her whiskers. From there she could see everything: the woman, the bus, the street, the puppy being lifted. Her tail was high now, not fluffy with fear, but straight with focus. The woman gathered the puppy against her chest. He stiffened, then softened when he felt the warmth of her coat. His paws pressed into the scarf, and he let out a small sound that was almost a sigh. The driver's voice came again, sharper. "Ma'am." "I'm coming," the woman called, breathless. She stood carefully, one arm cradling the puppy, the other holding her umbrella. Rain hit her face. She turned toward the bus steps. The kitten watched from the bench. The woman took one step toward the bus, then stopped. She looked back at the bench, scanning quickly. The kitten met her gaze without moving. The woman's face tightened again, like she had forgotten something important. Her eyes flicked down to the puppy, then back to the kitten. "Oh no," she whispered almost to herself. "I can't leave you." The bus doors began to close with a soft warning beep. The woman shifted the puppy higher in her arms, then reached out her free hand toward the kitten. "Come on, please, please." The kitten didn't move. Not because she didn't want to, because something across the street had just caught her attention. She turned her head sharply toward the dark space between two parked cars. Her ears went forward. Her body went low, ready. The puppy pressed against the woman's chest, lifted his head and followed the kitten's stare. His nose twitched fast. The woman froze, hand still extended, eyes searching the same spot. The bus door paused halfway shut, then opened again with an impatient hiss. And from the gap between the cars, a faint sound drifted through the rain. A small, thin mew. The kitten's tail went still like a held breath. The woman's whisper came out tight. "Is there another one?" The puppy wriggled once in the scarf, trying to see, as the kitten stared into the dark and took one silent step off the bench. And then she slipped into the rain, heading straight for the shadows between the cars.